everyone, it's River with By Jove Astrology, and today we're going to be talking about the big three in astrology. So the sun, the moon, and the rising, also known as the ascendant. And we're going to be exploring the meanings of these through the lens of tarot. I thought this was something really fun to do just because I've seen so many videos already out there that are so great about the big three. So I wanted to do the same thing, but approach it in a little bit of a different way. So I've got my notebook here, I've got my tarot cards, and let's get to talking about them. So the first one we have to talk about is the ascendant. Um, so the ascendant in astrology is the sign that was rising over the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. And so what the rising sign has been called, the phrase that Chris Brennan, the astrology podcast, uses is the helm, which I really like this idea. Basically, the rising sign is the steering wheel of your ship. It's both like the essence of, you steering it and the steering wheel or the helm itself. And so I felt like what that means and how that fit really well was with the chariots. So in this card, you can see a person here and they've got their chariot and, moving forward. And so basically this is about like your life direction. Where are you going? What inspires you to move in a certain way, right? Like if you're a rising Cancer, then perhaps the ideas of close bonds or your family connection or the clan or group that you're a part of is the sort of thing that is steering you in one way or another. For example, if you were trying to decide where to live as a rising Cancer, you'd be looking for those close-knit community bonds first. And so again, with the chariot, it's both that thing that is steering you, but it's also your physical body, your appearance. What is the chariot that you're on? What is the ship that are you on? This like really giant ship that has these spiky points on it. Maybe you're a rising Scorpio, and so you've got this really big defense system. Or maybe you're a rising Pisces and you've got this kind of like vintage tugboat that sort of just drifts along. Or maybe if you're Aries, definitely you've got maybe this torpedo kind of ship that can go down underground and just burst out of the water. I don't know enough about boats to continue with this analogy, but you can kind of get what I mean by this. And so again, with the ascendant, yeah, what is steering you? And something that I feel like, we don't hear enough about is the sign that rules your ascendant, not the sign, the planet that rules your ascendant. So for example, if you are a rising Taurus or a Libra, the sign that rules your ascendant is Venus. And so where Venus is in your chart can tell you so much about where you are steering your ship, where you are steering your chariot, the direction that you are going to. What are the things that are really important to your life that's kind of like your North Star, right? The compass. So like, let's say Venus is in your ninth house, then travel would be super important to you. And so your chariot is always heading in those places that are like far places and long, like making communications with others from different parts of the world. Or maybe you're interested in traveling and exploring through your mind and through philosophy. So you're really interested in learning, right? So that's just a little bit about the ascendant, and just also to like taking in that energy and sitting with it. What thoughts or feelings come up for you when you see this card in relation to the ascendant? And or like maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe there's another card that you feel fits the ascendant better. I'd love to know. Okay, let's move on to the sun. So just looking at the tarot card of the sun, you can feel this warmth and this brightness and this joy and this playfulness, happiness, right? But the card, even though this is like obviously the sun is very fitting for the sun in astrology, the card that I actually pulled that I want to be talking more deeply about is the Emperor. So with the Emperor, you can feel this starkness, right? You can feel this ambitious energy that is coming in. It's more forceful and bright. And that is how our sun is in astrology. Like a big part of why there's such this demand or there's this focus on the sun signs is because the sun in our chart is like that. It is our identity, it is our will, it is our ego. And it's this such a big, bright force, such a demanding energy like the Emperor, that oftentimes the other parts of our chart get a little bit more hidden, are pushed to the back. And it's not to say that any part of our chart, is better or deserves more attention to the other, but the sun is really like when you are connecting to your sun sign, you are connecting to your identity and your purpose in life, right? So the three key words that I've kind of been going over, but I want to say a bit more about are identity, purpose, and legacy. So identity is, who are you? When you think about your sun sign, let's say you have a sun in Libra, a big part of who you are is who you are in relation to other people. If you have a sun sign in Cancer, who you are is in big part of relation to who you come from, what your roots are, who you are in your family dynamic. If you have a sun sign in Aries, it's about who you are when you are out in the world, like following, what you believe in deeply and taking risks. Um, if you have a sun in Capricorn, it's about like what you are building in this lifetime, the things that you are accomplishing and achieving, not necessarily always in the material realm, but oftentimes. And then we have purpose. So purpose is a big part of the Emperor. And so this is the question of why are you here? What is it that you're here to do? And then we have legacy, which I feel like fits with purpose, which is about like what mark do you want to leave on this earth? And so that is the energy of the Emperor. So do you feel that that fits with the sun and the things that I've described, or is there another card that you like more than the Emperor that you feel fits more with the sun sign in astrology? Okay, and the last card we have is the Empress. Oh, I should say also too the same thing, that the moon card obviously feels like the obvious choice for the moon. In astrology, it's reflective, it's deep, it's mysterious, right? And I do have a short that I talk about the meaning of the moon. So if you're more curious about the moon in tarot and that card itself, I definitely recommend checking that out. But today, I want to talk about the Empress and why I feel that it fits. So you can feel the energy. It's so deeply different than the Emperor card. It's soft, it's nourishing, it moves in a lot more gently. I mean, it's just that energy of, you know, sitting underneath a tree and just connecting to the earth and connecting it to your body. And so with the Empress, the words I have for her are safety, care, nurture, love, And so with the moon, like the moon has a lot to do with us as children, or the way that we've been raised and the way that we've been nurtured and cared for as we were growing into adults. And so how that affects us is like the moon is about what you need to feel safe, how you create safe environment for yourself, for the people around you. The moon is how you care for yourself and how you care for other people, and the ways that you need to be tended to and nourished and nurtured, right? And then also love. The Empress is the people in our lives that make us happy, that make us want to do things for them, and the love that we also receive from them in return. So you can feel her energy here is a lot different than the Emperor's. So what do you feel like? Does, the Empress fit the energy of the moon? Is there another card that you feel fits better? Okay, so that's the three that I kind of felt fit. So again, the Chariot for the Ascendant, the Emperor for the Sun, and the Empress for the Moon card. I'd love to know your thoughts on today's little mini reading. All right, have a good day.